Tonight, a major manhunt for an alleged gunman shuts down the small town of Wallaroo. And Whyalla Mayor Lynn Brewer fronts court for the first time, accused of assault.
This is Southern Cross News with Abby Donaldson.
Good evening. Heavily armed police officers are continuing to comb the Wallaroo community tonight in a bid to find a 25-year-old man wanted over a string of offences. Jake Don't allegedly pointed a handgun at officers when police pursued him yesterday, sparking a massive lockdown of the town.
As the search for 25-year-old Jake Don't continued into a second day, parts of Wallaroo remained in tight lockdown. The drama started yesterday afternoon when police wanted to speak to Don't in relation to a pursuit in the early hours of Monday morning. When officers approached him, it's alleged he pulled out a handgun and aimed it at them. Police opened fire, but he managed to escape.
We believe that Jake may still be in the Wallaroo area, but we have not had any confirmed sightings for some time.
Police today declared Hamilton Street and Marshall Street, among others, as dangerous areas. Local patrols, with the help of Star Group officers and the Dog Operations Unit, continued to search the scene where Don't was spotted. Authorities urged him to respond to their phone calls and text messages.
Encourage Jake to come forward to the police so that we can work with him and resolve this situation safely and peacefully with no one getting hurt.
Frightened residents were forced to spend the night in the local town hall, not knowing where the suspect could be hiding and if it was safe to return home.
It's a little bit scary. I mean, the town's relatively quiet and all of a sudden you got all these cars and cop cars and
not much we can do about it. We just have to wait and see what happens. Hopefully they get the person quick so people can go home.
The community warned Don't was potentially armed and dangerous and should not be approached.
He is wearing black long pants. He's got a black hooded jumper with a white emblem on the front, and he was wearing a black cap.
Rachel Nell, Southern Cross News.
A new advertising campaign has been launched in another attempt to curb fatalities on regional roads. The Motor Accident Commission hopes the powerful message will help motorists realise the wider effect dangerous driving can have on the community.
It's a confronting and raw road safety campaign that's sure to make motorists think twice before getting behind the wheel. The ads are targeting country drivers in a bid to prompt them to think about the people who will be left behind in the aftermath of a tragedy.
The campaign is all about focusing on that solitary behaviour, when people get behind the wheel on their own and they think they're going to be okay and the only person they're going to hurt is themselves.
The Commission decided the message needed to be more direct than those in the past, to resonate more with drivers.
The reflective nature of this campaign, where you've got your family, you've got your loved ones, you've got your mates in the rear vision mirror, that you're having a glance at when you're making that poor choice is the real impact.
The Left Behind campaign covers three key areas: speeding, drink driving and not wearing a seatbelt. And with already 29 fatalities occurring on the state's regional roads this year, there's a pressing need to reduce any further deaths on our roads.
We don't want people dying on our roads, and the proportion of regional people that have been dying on our roads is way too high.
The government says it can't pinpoint why regional drivers make risky choices in isolated situations, but it's hoping to change that behaviour with this strong message.
To be thinking about those people that you might impact if you make a negative choice and a bad choice.
Garth Burley, Southern Cross News.
Whyalla Mayor Lynn Brewer has made her first in-court appearance for her assault case, but it has been adjourned once again. John Hunt has more details.
Since first being in court, Lynn Brewer has avoided the spotlight, preferring to stay away until she was required to appear. Today was that day, as Ms. Brewer made her first appearance as the case against her entered the next stage. Supported by friends and family, including her son, Ms. Brewer entered the courtroom this morning as the process moved forward to the next stage. It was a brief hearing, as there was once again an application for an adjournment, with more time needed to track down witnesses, many of whom are serving in the army. The application went uncontested by the prosecution, and Magistrate Forrest set the new date for October 16. Ms. Brewer kept quiet as she left the court building and made a quick exit. The Wyler mayor is accused of assaulting Angela Antonio, the wife of current councillor Tom Antonio, who was defeated by Ms Brewer in the 2016 election. It's alleged the assault occurred at last year's Remembrance Day ceremony, where army officers from Duntrim College who were on training attended. But Ms Brewer has consistently denied the allegations. So with this adjournment, it means the next hearing will be just around the corner from the next council elections. In the meantime, it's expected Mayor Brewer will continue in her role.
Port Augusta residents have lashed out over a penalty slapped against Flinders Power relating to ash dust incidents that plagued the town since late 2016. The $2,000 fine has also seen the council seek advice on appealing the sanction.
It may have been 18 months ago, but the details of an ash dust event that swirled Port Augusta is still fresh in the mind of many locals.
It was just thick in the air. It was almost like a fog. Everywhere you went, there was dust.
The small ash particles travelled from the decommissioned power station site, currently being remediated by Flinders Power. An investigation by the EPA was conducted into the dust events, resulting in a fine of just $2,240.
I thought, this can't be right. It's just too low for what they did.
In a statement, the EPA says the penalty related to the company's ability to prevent the dust, rather than the extent of it. It also said the application of dust suppressant, which washed away in severe weather conditions, also impacted the fine. The Port Augusta Council is seeking advice on appealing the judgment of the EPA, with some members describing the fine as disrespectful to the people of Port Augusta, and that it was Council's responsibility to stand up and make that clear. Garth Burley, Southern Cross News.
Still to come tonight, a Port Augusta resident hits the jackpot after claiming $1 million Cross Lotto prize. A Broken Hill councillor has raised concerns over the impending reopening of the town's trouble-plagued Civic Centre. He's demanding the community know just how much money has been poured into the project.
The doors will open soon, but at what cost? That's the question Councillor Tom Kennedy is putting to Council.
What we need to find out as a community, what the cost is in addition to what was budgeted, what the cost is to take out legal action to do whatever, and what legal action is actually being taken.
The Broken Hill Civic Centre will reopen next month after more than 2 years of repairs. Over 600 problems had to be fixed at the facility, plus legal action is still ongoing against the previous builders. Councillor Kennedy is concerned how much has left Council's back pocket. Council says it's hard to talk about legal costs and expenditure while the matter is before the courts.
It would be premature really to talk about those until such time as we've been able to finalise those costs and get them into the lawsuit or into the litigation, but at which point all of that stuff will be made public.
Council says it needed to spend some money to repair the centre, but it was on the understanding it had a strong case to recoup the funds through legal proceedings.
And any bits that would be deemed to be confidential, put in confidential, but all other bits to be made open and public.
Additional repair work will be conducted at the centre after vandals smashed outside lighting this morning. Patrick Roinke, Southern Cross News.
Much of Eyre Peninsula has long been frustrated with the reliability of NBN's fixed wireless service, but there's some relief on the way, with the network announcing new upgrades, with some suggesting it's well overdue.
It's the network that has boosted regional Australia's access to data. However, it seems the towers meant to provide the fixed wireless technology are not meeting demand, with users experiencing very poor speeds.
So each tower's got a level of capacity. If you use water as an analogy, they haven't put big enough pipes in. NBN Co is only using small pipes to deliver the internet, and the demand it exceeds the supply.
Towers across Eyre Peninsula, including at Winters Hill and Cummins, were initially built with a small user capacity.
So basically what's happened is NBN Co have decided that they'll put an initial capacity in and then upgrade as the customers come on board. Now the customers have come on board at a lot faster rate than what NBN Company expected.
And the network has taken note.
We've seen great take-up of the service and a high demand for streaming data, and that's just necessitated the need to bring these upgrades forward.
With upgrades expected to take place early next year.
The sooner they fix it, the better.
Casey Trelaw, Southern Cross News.
The Spencer Gulf region is fueled with renewable energy projects, but it seems Port Lincoln might be falling behind. An energy group has a plan to change that though, with help of Eyre Peninsula councils.
Wind, and Port Lincoln has plenty of it. But according to some, we're not making the most of the renewable resource.
Currently, Eyre Peninsula does not have an energy plan, and we've been pushing this for 2 years now, and other departments have been looking at it and nothing's outcome. So we've put up a plan.
With that plan containing a range of components to transform the Eyre Peninsula into a renewable energy user and provider.
Several components. One obviously is the huge resource we have for wind and solar. And the second one is getting it to market, which requires a significant upgrade of the transmission system of the Peninsula.
With the proposed economic benefits to take the region by storm.
The economic benefit costed over 10 years, which is 5 years construction, 5 years in production, is a positive number of $14 billion. And after that it would jump up to $3 billion per year.
And now it's hoped the Eyre Peninsula councils will endorse the plan or create their own vision based on similar success in Port Augusta.
Port Lincoln needs to get into the 21st century and start adopting this.
The next step for the Energy Working Party is to get prospective investors on board with these renewable projects. Casey Trelaw, Southern Cross News.
One lucky Port Augusta Lotto player is $1 million richer after they won the Division 1 share in the Monday and Wednesday Cross Lotto. The winning ticket was sold at the News Express West Side on Luton Road, and after hopeful players tested to see if they had the lucky ticket, the winner of the fortune claimed their prize this afternoon. The lottery win adds to the store's list of previous wins, including a $17 million prize. As China clamps down on dirty air, a mining company with a project near Broken Hill is receiving plenty of interest. Their high-grade iron ore is exactly what steelmakers will need to increase efficiency and reduce pollution.
Clear skies mean a clear future for Carpinteria. A new policy introduced in China this week continues the country's environmental push to reduce its pollution.
What the policy does is reduce steel production in a number of areas as well as other industrial production. If you reduce production in one area, you need to increase production in the other areas.
Using high-quality ore allows steel mills to produce more steel while cutting back on pollutants. This week saw high-grade iron ore prices rocket to almost $100 US per tonne off the back of China's new policy. It all bodes well for Carpinteria as they look to secure funding for a feasibility study for its Horsens iron project near Broken Hill.
The reinforcement of these price spreads and the premiums for high-quality ore increases our chances of attracting that strategic funding. We are 100% focused on achieving that funding. This will happen and we will reach some milestones.
Several Chinese steelmakers have already signed letters of intent with Carpinteria to supply them with high-quality ore when the production commences. Patrick Reinke, Southern Cross News.
Still to come tonight, all the latest sport results.
And after a bit of wet and wintry weather, sunshine is on the way. I'll have all the local weather details next.
Turning to sport now, and Wanderers have moved into third in Whyalla soccer after defeating Westlands. John Hunt joins us now with all the details. And John, it was a hard-fought clash.
It was. Both sides knew a win would move them further away from last place, so there was a bit to play for on Saturday. On their home deck, Wanderers managed to secure the victory, holding off a fast-finishing Westlands. With the breeze behind them, Wanderers scored 3 first-half goals to lead at half-time. Westlands fought back when they had the breeze, managing to get back to 3-2 with just 10 minutes to go. The Blues, however, held them off and moved into third place on the table. And they kept their position on the ladder after leaders Lions defeated Steel United 3-1. Steel are now in fourth position. Over in Port Perry, and Northern Demons are sixth after a dramatic 2-1 win over Adelaide Hills. Down 1-0, the Hills levelled in stoppage time after Daniel Hosking slotted a penalty in the 94th minute. Their joy was short-lived, as 2 minutes later Northern Demons were awarded a penalty, with Marco Balsamo duly converting to snatch the win. Meanwhile, Savoy continued their good form with a 2-0 win away over Roe Park, Sam Salvini and Kym Crouch scoring the goals. Turning to netball and just 2 leagues in operation over the school holidays. In Northern Areas netball, Broughton Mundura had a narrow win over Crystal Brook. Wallaroo were too strong for Southern Flinders, and Jamestown Peterborough had a 47-43 win over BMW. And in Great Flinders netball, Amisha Myers Stardust Cougars had a comfortable win over the Ramblers. So that's all the sport this week. Most netball leagues should return next week as school returns. And we'll also be back with all the results at the same time next Tuesday.
Thanks, John. Time now for the weather details with Amy.
Welcome back. A wet and windy day for most centres today. Whyalla hitting 19 degrees, 17 in Port Lincoln. Meanwhile, a beautiful fine day in Port Augusta, 20 at the top there. On the satellite, and some light showers about in the western and southern coasts. Skies are clearer in the north, which is leading to cool days and chilly overnight temperatures with frosty mornings. Another rough day on the waters tomorrow. Northwesterly winds are picking up to 25 knots, with seas reaching up to 3 metres. Sunrise is at 7:22, while it will set at 5:29. A return to the nicer winter weather conditions tomorrow, with the mercury hitting the low 20s in some districts. A sunny 21 in Port Augusta, maximums in Whyalla sitting just a degree below. Mostly sunny in Port Lincoln and a high of 18 degrees. Showers are expected to clear up by Saturday in Port Lincoln for a fine 17. Cleve will also be kicking off the weekend with sunny conditions, as will Woodner, with maximums rising just slightly to a top of 19. A mostly sunny run into the weekend for Whyalla, with maximums hitting 18 degrees. Port Augusta will also experience a sunny Saturday. Meanwhile, in Kadina, temperatures are predicted to be a little cooler after showers on Friday, and 14. Saturday will bring a top of 16 degrees. Despite some showers late into the week, Port Pirie will see a sunny 16 on the weekend. Chilly temperatures in Clare with showers and 11 degrees on Friday before a sunny 13. And in Broken Hill, after a beautiful 21 on Thursday, temperatures are going to drop. However, it will remain mostly sunny. So Abby, back to you, but it's looking like we'll end up seeing some sunshine later in the week, and a big welcome to you as you get settled into the chair.
Thanks, Amy. Always love a sunny weekend. And that's the local news this Tuesday. Thanks for your company. I'll have updates later. Until then, enjoy your evening. Good night.